Tara Williams sat quietly in the corner booth of Joe's Diner, cradling a warm mug of coffee between her chilled hands. The morning rush had passed, and now the only sounds were the low hum of a radio and the occasional clink of cutlery against porcelain. Outside, a cold wind blew through the streets of Chicago, but inside the diner, warmth and the scent of fresh-baked bread filled the air. Tara came here often. It was a comforting place, a bubble of calm in her otherwise chaotic life. Money was tight, job interviews were going nowhere, and eviction was a very real threat. Still, she found solace in the simple routine of sipping coffee in this familiar corner, watching strangers come and go, trying to remind herself that better days might still lie ahead. The bell above the door jingled. Tara looked up, watching an elderly man shuffle in. His clothes were clean but worn, an old brown coat, patched at the elbows, and shoes that had seen better days. He walked slowly, leaning heavily on a cane. His name was Mr. Finch, a quiet diner regular known for ordering the same meal, tomato soup and toast. Today was no different. He settled into his usual seat near the counter and ordered softly. Tara overheard him asking the waitress if the soup price had gone up. He looked at the coins in his palm, worry creasing his face. It struck her deeply, how such a small amount of money could cause concern. Her chest ached with empathy. Something tugged at Tara's heart. She didn't have much herself, but she knew what it felt like to count coins for a meal. Without second-guessing, she stood and approached the counter. "Add his meal to my bill," she told the waitress. "Please don't tell him." The waitress nodded with a warm smile. Tara returned to her booth, pretending to be absorbed in her phone. When Mr. Finch reached for his wallet, the waitress told him someone had already covered his bill. He looked around, confused but deeply moved. "Who?" "They wanted to stay anonymous," she replied. He sat still for a moment, eyes watering. "Thank you," he said softly to no one in particular. His expression held a quiet reverence, as if the simple act had rekindled something long dormant inside him. The next morning, Tara was making instant coffee in her cramped studio apartment when someone knocked. She opened the door to find a tall man in a black suit holding an envelope. "Ms. Tara Williams?" he asked. "Yes. I'm James Harper. Mr. Thomas Finch asked me to deliver this." "Mr. Finch? The man from the diner?" "Indeed. May I come in?" Still confused, she stepped aside. James entered, carrying himself with quiet formality. He handed her the envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. "Dear Ms. Williams. You showed me kindness without knowing who I am. Most see me as an old man with little to offer. In truth, I am the founder of Finch Technologies. I live simply by choice. Your compassion reminded me of what truly matters. Enclosed is a token of gratitude, not just for what you did, but for who you are. With deepest thanks, Thomas Finch." Alongside the note was a check. Tara's hands trembled. The amount was staggering. It could erase her debts, pay for college courses she had long put off, maybe even allow her to help others. Tears filled her eyes. She had expected nothing from her gesture, yet it had returned to her tenfold. She remembered her mother's words, "Do good, even if no one is watching." Now she understood why. She sat on her worn-out couch, stunned, rereading the note. Questions flooded her mind, but beneath them all was an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Her one simple act, something she had done from the heart, had come back in the most unimaginable way. That day, she began volunteering at a local shelter. Weeks later, she enrolled in a business course. Her life didn't change overnight, but a new path had opened. One paved with purpose, not just survival. Word of her story spread quietly. First among friends, then through local news. But Tara didn't seek fame or recognition. What mattered most was the lesson she now carried, that kindness, no matter how small, never goes unnoticed. She never saw Mr. Finch again, but his lesson endured. On quiet nights, she would think of him and smile. Somewhere out there, a man who had once seemed invisible had changed her world. And in return, she would change the world of others. Because kindness doesn't end with a thank you. It begins there.